Paolo Galluzzi. I'm the director of the Museo Galileo. For those who are not familiar with Florence, is 100 meters from where we are at the moment. So go and visit it. You can even virtually visit it at www.museogalileo.it. You will find a lot of information. My institution has been trying to cope with the problem and opportunities, above all, opportunities offered by ICT technology, ICT, and since the mid-90s, is over 20 years that we are trying to make the best of these tools, new tools, continually changing tools that oblige those who have found their way to change continuously this way. And we are talking today of museum mobile, meaning, if I understand correctly, to the recent, in a sense, possibility of exploiting the fact that visitors of museums in an ever-growing percentage have in their pockets or their bags devices that allow them to interact with the collection exhibited in museums. This is a new moment in which those who have been working on a website level, on the video guides on site, have to make a new shift towards a different prospect, possibly not the last one. The problem that I foresee is not in technology. Technology is much more advanced than the development of appropriate contents for being used through these devices. Technology is offering so many opportunities that probably this is also paralyzing museum curators and people in front of the way in which they have to answer to this challenge. I do not see much around the world. Certainly I am more familiar with my country, so I will stay in this geographic limit. I do not see much of development of content that is seriously facing the problem of providing information tailored for these new media, but also meaningful from a cultural point of view. You see lots of interactive gadgets. You see a lot of games, let's say, that you can play in the museums. But if you look at the mission of cultural institutions and museums, and you focus on the importance that what you offer as a cultural value, although simplified, although made understandable for those who have not the specific tool, you will end with a disappointment because there is very little around. The other problem is that you have to make an enormous effort to develop content. You need a new generation of content providers that are able to analyze and to abandon the dress they have been formed to, that is to abandon writing labels, writing entries for catalogs, writing text for panels, and they tune to this new way of communicating. This is obviously difficult because, especially in my country, museums is not been recording any change of personnel in the last 20 years, so you have not a large majority of young people that would be immediately tuned to this problem. And the second problem is that no investment has been done up to now by public institutions in this direction. So people have self-made person. Everybody unrelated to the others, and no serious platform is developed. The problem is content will be crucial. Development of technology will go ahead, but if we do not cope this development with giving through these media information that is attractive, that is alive, that is structured according to the different profiles of users, that is also sound, and is also exploding the museum, if I can say so, into the city or the region in which it is open, I think that at the end, this will become a game, will not change really and give museums the visibility that is a big opportunity to gain through these new novelties. So in my view, we have to focus not only on technology, but the mobile technology that we have today, the fact, as I repeat, that many of our visitors, and will be all of them in a few years, will be accompanied by a smartphone or a tablet or what will be in a few years, is something that obliges to rethink radically the strategy of communication of museums. And I want to focus on one specific point. Museums, as we have today in all the world, are fragmented and isolated institutions. Let me explain why. Museums were born, as we say, in 16th century as promiscuous entities. The Wunderkammer model is said generally, where you had together, one aside the other, paintings, sculptures, natural magic objects, books, funny things, and many other stones, flowers, dried flowers, and so on. And then all the history of museums is a history of further specialization that has taken us to have a rigid separation of heritage in different containers. You have, in the world of art, you have pinacotheques for painting, you have cabinets of art prints and drawings, you have medals and coins, you have gypsothèque, you have minor arts, and the same is true for science heritage. That is, you have Natural History Museum, you have Science Museum, you have Geological Museum, and so on. This makes it difficult to understand when you visit this kind of collection their value, because the history of ideas is not so fragmented. Things that are displayed in the Uffizi Gallery resound directly with objects preserved in the Museo Galileo and with places in town, of course. And if you do not reconnect these, you will not give back to the museum the cultural value that has been founded for. You will miss a large opportunity. This was impossible up to very recent years because you couldn't move objects and put together all the fragments that history has divided. But now you can do that. You can do, of course, in the web. You can do even better on the mobile technology, phones and tablets. That is giving people the possibility of visiting an individual museum, looking at an object and having the tools to decipher the value of that object and to connect that object with all the other information that is preserved elsewhere that is making, let me say so, that object to speak to visitor and to show its importance. Obviously, this is not an easy task. It's a real revolution. It's a revolution not only in technology, but also in content making, content providing. There is little effort in my country, at least in this direction. We observe craftsmen that work with good spirit to try to pick up this challenge. But of course, through this way, will not go far. The large part of curators of traditional museums are not sensitive, in my opinion, at least not sensitive as should be, to the challenge that is posed by these new tools that are in front of us. I want to, se è possibile, mandare quel filmato. I want to show you something that you might have seen yesterday morning when it's been presented in the poster session at lunchtime. That is the solution for a mobile way to provide visitors with tools able to give an idea of what they are looking at in our museum, the Museo Galileo. Yes, I can give a look to that. This is just a presentation. You can rent this device, which is a mobile device, individual mobile. You will connect with earphones, so you will have also a soundtrack without disturbing people. And this will allow you to visit the whole collection, 1,100 objects, in a very immersive and personal way. You have a possibility of dividing user profiles. You have language, possibility of selecting a language. Of course, at the moment are only Italian and English, but you can expand that in the future. You have very easy, very friendly way of approaching the collection. If you go in front of an object, immediately the object, without doing nothing, the image of the object will be on your screen. And then you touch that object and you will have the options that is offered to you. Do you want to know about the biography of the author? Do you want to know about his working? For us, it's very important, the working of instruments. It's not like a painting that you just look. You have to imagine how it was, and also the context in which it operated. So all this visual information and audio-visual information will be provided to you, and you will be free to interact with that to the extent that you want. You will select what you want. And you can also select different ways of visiting the museum according to topics, specific topics of interest for you. You are a physician, you want to know about what is connected to history of medicine in this collection. You are an astronomer, and it's so like that. And this is a powerful tool that people that use it are very, very extremely impressed by what you can get through that. But what is making this tool successful is content. We have an enormous content inside, quality content, serious content, but also tailored in a way and in times that are compatible with the kind of visit that a person make using this kind of device. My focus, and I conclude with this, is that we have to make a lower but significant investment into training people who provide information in museums to accept this challenge and to give content that are both attractive and serious. If we do not do this, the museum will be a victim, if I can say so, of the contemporary trend and push towards considering this institution as instrumental to increase the welfare and the economy of the country where they live, forgetting their cultural mission. Thank you.